Welcome to another week of short devotionals as we focus this week upon the book of Samuel and in particular in David and Goliath. I want to look this morning at conquering your giants. You know, before King David faced Goliath, or he wasn't King David at the time, he was a shepherd David, but before he faced Goliath in the book of 1 Samuel, he had He had to fight four other giants before he ever took on that battle. They weren't physical giants, they were giants in his mind. And we are far more likely to face the mental giants of life than we are to face physical giants in a battle. But mental giants can be just as big and just as intimidating. And they can keep you from becoming who God wants you to be, can keep you from fulfilling the dream that God has put in your heart. The first mental giant that's in the way of fulfilling your dream is the giant of delay. No dream is ever fulfilled instantly. God gives you a dream one day, he doesn't fulfill it the next. It may be years before you see the fulfillment of that dream. There's always a waiting period. After the prophet Samuel anointed David as king, David's father, Jesse, well, he told David to get back to work tending sheep. Talk about a delayed dream. It was to be 15 years before David would actually become king. But God used that time, that 15 years, to build David's character, teaching him to be obedient even when things didn't make sense to David. As David waited for God to fulfill his promise, he learned to trust God and to trust in God's sovereignty. The lesson is that God is faithful and that he will complete his work in his time. The second mental giant that David had to face was the giant of discouragement. Goliath had created a climate of fear in Israel. Everyone was convinced that no matter who went up against him to fight, they were going to lose against this guy. This guy was just too big. Well, what people are you listening to that are saying your dream can't be done? You can't do it. It's impossible. Who's putting your dream down, saying it'll never happen? Sometimes you just need a fresh voice, like a shepherd boy with a fresh pair of eyes who says, this guy's nothing. We can take him down. We can defeat him. No problem. The third giant standing in the way is the giant of disapproval. In David's case, his own brother questioned his motives and disapproved of him going after Goliath. When God gives you a dream that other people are afraid of, and you go for it anyway, you're going to be misjudged, you're going to be misunderstood, you're going to be maligned. You have to decide what matters more to you, the approval of other people or God's approval. What matters most? There's a final giant that you may have to face, that David had to face, and that is the giant of doubt. Nobody was a greater expert on war than King Saul. He told David he was crazy. Crazy for thinking that a boy could fight a warrior like Goliath. Can't be done. Maybe an expert is saying it can't be done for you either. That's enough to make you want to start doubting yourself. Remember, experts are often wrong. You won't be deterred by the naysayers when you focus on God's promises and trust the Lord. Trust that He is faithful to keep His promises. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Let's continue to exchange prayers daily.